Welcome to the installment of the Underground Railway. Welcome in, people. Thank y'all for joining, listening, sponsoring, supporting this movement. I just want to touch on a real subject that's going on and happening in this country. So far that we've had the Homeland Security, we've had the National Guard, all these other factors there in DC. Now an invasion of Chicago. After, before that and before all of that happening and taking place, we got this kid that went and shot up a school. Now, if we ever needed a time was to protect our children, the time is now. Not playing power plays like it's a fucking, a game or pieces on a chessboard, but that's the way it seems like it's moving right now, and it's happening with this orange monster. A power play, authority, and declarations of war on the American people. Let me tell you something right now. If the tribes do not, every street tribe, every person out there in Chicago or even in the Midwest don't come together, they are planning to come up here. Just over the weekend, we had some kids that went wilding out, spinning out of control, doing street takeovers, and all that is just, manufactured propaganda so they can set up and they can continue to enslave us. Just like I told y'all before, they went for the Mexican people, they went for every other person from every other country to whitewash this place. Now they are coming for the rest of the people, using that arm of the law, the so-called law, filled by felons and Epstein files. Like I said, if we ever wanted to protect this country, was to protect our children first. They talk about America first, but they don't live by it, they don't preach by it, they don't give a fuck about it. And the fact of the matter is that these children, they lost their lives in Minnesota. They were there in prayer, a place of worship, a Catholic, ministry school, and they were victims to this outlaw gangster, mega gangster that went on a shooting rampage, and none of that shit has been addressed. None of that shit has been confronted. But it's been confirmed who he was, his identity. All of these Manchuria candidates ready to act and do an assault on our children, just like what was happening in El Paso a few years back under others' presidency, where he announced and spewed that garbage on TV saying that there was an invasion. This kid went from his town in his city to El Paso, and he took the lives and unalived all of these people over there in that Walmart. And then we got all of these other people shooting up schools, and all we see behind it is that it's a hoax. The Epstein files is a hoax. This, thing is manufactured, and it's a hoax. It didn't happen. There was no school shooting at Sandy Hook. All this other bullshit and propaganda. And we got to open our eyes and realize what the fuck is going on. And we got to act, and we got to protect our children. We got to protect our people, every race, every nationality, every real American in this country. We got to save and protect, because they are coming after us all. It don't matter. It don't matter. This ain't a race war. People think that it's a fucking race war because you see all this neo-Nazi bullshit, and you see them fucking trying to parade through places with all of their propaganda and their flags. This is a class war. That means that it is a war on the poor, just like it was the war on drugs and it was the war on people. It's a war on humanity, just like it was with 9/11. This is a war on the fucking American people, to interrogate you, to assault you, to put you in a place like Alcatraz, like Alligator Alcatraz. The fact of the matter is that we need to protect our fucking children. We need to protect our kids that are the victims, that are getting shot up, that have no other way to protect themselves. And we got fools that are here in office pushing fucking executive orders and buttons and not even answering for it, but going golfing with his punk ass. All this other bullshit is happening and taking place in this fucking country. The propaganda the war on the people, the eyes in the skies, the fucking flock camera, recording your identity through your eyeball sockets, reading all of your identity. And once they put you in that database, you are stuck in that database and you are criminalized. Once you have them in that new ID shit, that shit is just to fucking be an invasion so they can keep track of where you're going. Every place. They wanted by the year 2028 cameras in everybody's home to see what the fuck you're doing. But it is a class war. It is a class war on the poor. That's why they swept up and they grabbed all the other homeless people and locked them up in cages. And then they had the National Guard and the Marines picking up garbage. That's not their job. And when they were supposed to get their paycheck, he canceled their contract with that so they don't get paid. And then another crew of people take over after that 29 days. It's bullshit. It's a robbery. It's a thievery of the people. And all you see is fucking commercials of joining the army, joining the Marines now. For what war? What propaganda is happening? But they will draft your children. All of these things are taking place in this country. But you got to understand, it is a time now that we have ever needed to protect our children. They are running the spin doctors are running a crazy story on the media. You got to stop, look, and learn and listen and educate yourself. Educate your mind, because your mind is a powerful tool and a powerful weapon before you even put anything in it. And you train your mind, you train your body, you protect your family, you protect your community, you protect your people, because we are under an invasion. We are under a war right now, under attack. We've been under attack. The fact is that they already have intel that during this Mexican independence, they're going to try to snatch up 1 million more bodies off of the street. People that have worked hard, people that have labored for this country. They've spent money hand over fist. They have labored with the sweat of their brow for this economy, for the taxes, and don't receive anything out of it, but being deported and thrown in an alligator island place with no food, no bread, no water, under bad conditions. These are the things that are happening, and they're coming for our people. They're coming for our people there in Chicago. They are propagating and they are insinuating and using this propaganda to their tools to fashion them to point it right at you. And like I said, it is not a race war going on, but they play it off to be. They are trying to poke the bear. They are trying to wake up the sleeping giant. They are trying to provoke the hostility of the people that, we got to defend ourselves. We got to defend ourselves. We have to stick by our amendment rights, our God-given amendment rights that we have. The right to bear arms, the right to protect our people. Just like Huey P. Newton said, a culture of people or nonetheless that don't arm themselves are slaves to the system. What is about to take place? What is about to happen? This is like fucking tomfoolery. This is fucking bullshit of calling in all these other resources that could have fed the kids. They cut all of the food stamps. They cut all of that shit. He said he was going to drain the fucking swamp. It is only to put those fucking dollars in his pocket, his meme coin, his wealth. Who does that says that they're a man of God and fills the fucking White House with all gold? It is a control of power. They say that when people have power, that absolute power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts. It's corrupted by that greed. Corrupted by what you can have in your hand. And just with the last post that was put out saying wait to it's like literally like the Joker, wait till they get a load of me, but this says wait what the world sees, that they don't even see what's about to come. We are in, like, not even the Christians have woken up what's going on and what's happening. They still believe that this is the man for the office to run this place. But you got to understand, that is the Antichrist in power. That is the Antichrist pulling buttons, choking like a python. All of our resources, all of our taxes, all of our social security, everything. Dismantling the schools, dismantling the food programs. Going there in, the Smithsonian, denouncing slavery like it was, it was too extreme. It didn't even happen. Saying that slavery was a hoax. All these things are happening and surfacing, taking place. Get ready for the next installment.